There is a strange point in personal finance where your life starts feeling different before it starts looking different. You may still drive the same car, you may still live in the same apartment, your paycheck may not even be much higher. And yet, something shifts. For a lot of people, that point shows up around $20,000. Now, to be clear, $20,000 does not make anyone rich. In many parts of the country, it can disappear fast if life gets messy enough. One medical bill, one job loss, one housing emergency, and the number suddenly looks a lot smaller. Still, this is the level where many people experience their first real sense of financial breathing room. And that changes more than your bank balance. Because before you build some savings, money has a way of controlling your emotional weather. A normal Tuesday can get ruined by a text from your landlord. A weird sound from your car can hijack your whole week. An unexpected charge on your card can feel like a crisis, even if the amount is relatively small. That's the part people underestimate. Being low on money is expensive, yes. It is also mentally exhausting. It keeps your brain in short-term mode. You solve today, then tomorrow, then the next fire. The future exists, though it feels blurry and optional. Once you cross a threshold like $20,000, the future starts becoming visible again. And here's where things get interesting. The biggest benefit of that money is not what it buys. It is what it prevents. It prevents panic. It prevents rushed decisions. It prevents bad timing from turning into long-term damage. That matters because financial mistakes usually happen under pressure. When people are calm, they compare options. When people are cornered, they grab the nearest exit. Think about a car repair. If you have $800 in checking and your transmission dies, you are in survival mode instantly. You may throw it on a credit card at 27% interest. You may take the first quote without questioning it. You may borrow from the wrong person. You may even miss work because the whole situation snowballs. Now imagine the same repair when you have $20,000 saved. You still hate the repair. Nobody enjoys spending money on a transmission. Though this time, the event stays in the category of inconvenience. It does not become a full-body emergency. You can pay it, compare prices, think clearly, and move on. That difference saves money in ways people rarely track. Because the real cost of being broke is rarely just the original bill. It is the late fees, the interest, the stress spending, the impulsive choice, the missed opportunity, the emotional fallout, the time lost cleaning up the mess afterward. That is why the first serious savings goal feels so powerful. It changes the quality of your decisions. And once your decisions improve, your financial life gets easier, even if your income stays the same for a while. Another shift happens with time. When money is tight, every hour starts carrying pressure. Free time can feel suspicious. Rest can feel irresponsible. A slow week at work feels dangerous. You start mentally converting your life into transactions. If I take a break, am I falling behind? If I spend this afternoon relaxing, am I wasting money I should be earning? That mindset is exhausting. With a real cushion behind you, time starts feeling human again. You can think past next Friday. You can recover without guilt. You can make room for planning. And planning is one of the highest return activities in personal finance. Because the difference between good money decisions and bad ones is often a few extra days of clear thinking. A person with no buffer buys based on urgency. A person with a buffer buys based on value. That sounds subtle. It is not. Let's use a simple example. Say someone buys cheap shoes for $45 every 4 months because that is what fits the week-to-week budget. Another person buys a durable pair for $140 that lasts 2 years. Over 24 months, the first person spends about $270. The second person spends $140. This happens everywhere. Cheap furniture replaced twice. Budget appliances that fail early. Fast fashion bought for relief and discarded fast. Predatory financing used to smooth over timing problems. When your money is thin, you often pay for flexibility with higher long-term costs. Once you have savings, you can start paying for quality, timing, and efficiency. And that is when your monthly spending can actually become smarter, calmer, and sometimes lower. Here's the mistake most people never think about. They assume the value of savings is linear, as if every extra dollar simply adds one extra dollar of safety. In reality, early savings are more powerful than that. They change your behavior. Going from $500 to $2,000 feels huge because it keeps small disasters from turning into debt. Going from $2,000 to $10,000 feels huge because now bigger problems stop threatening your rent. Going from $10,000 to $20,000 often creates your first real layer of optionality. And optionality is one of the most valuable assets in finance. Optionality means you can leave a bad job without instantly spiraling. It means you can wait for a better offer. It means you can say no to terrible terms. It means you can absorb a slow month without acting desperate. That last part matters more than people realize. Desperation is expensive. It makes you accept lowball salaries. It makes you refinance under pressure. It makes you keep toxic clients. It makes you stay in leases, jobs, and routines that drain you. A savings cushion does not solve every problem. It does give you bargaining power, sometimes real bargaining power. sometimes psychological bargaining power. Both are useful. Imagine two workers earning the same salary. One has $800 saved, the other has $20,000. Their resumes may look identical. Their stress levels won't. Their choices definitely won't. If their manager piles on extra unpaid work, one person may stay silent because the risk feels unbearable. The other can think more strategically. If a better role opens up with a short transition period, one person may be unable to take it. The other can move. If one wants to take a certification course, relocate, or tolerate a small income dip for a stronger long-term position, savings makes that possible. This is why wealth building often accelerates after the first meaningful cushion. The money itself helps. The confidence helps more. The flexibility helps most. And around the middle of this whole conversation, there is a deeper point worth stopping on. The real shift at $20,000 is not about safety alone. It is about identity. Because before you save a meaningful amount, it is easy to tell yourself a story. I'm bad with money. I always fall behind. I can never get ahead. Every time I try, something goes wrong. Those stories are powerful because they feel evidence-based. Your bank account seems to prove them. Then one day you look up, and there is actual proof of a different story. You built something. You protected it. You repeated good behavior long enough for it to become visible. That changes how you see yourself. And once identity changes, behavior gets easier to maintain. A person who believes they are chaotic with money has to fight themselves every month. A person who believes they are steady, disciplined, and capable starts acting in alignment with that belief. They automate, they plan, they delay gratification, they think in years. That is a massive upgrade. There is financial math behind this too. Let's say that after reaching $20,000, you finally stop carrying a $4,000 credit card balance at 24% interest. That alone can save roughly $960 per year in interest if the balance had been revolving. If you also avoid one $1,500 emergency going onto a card and skip a few overdraft or late fees over the year, your cushion may quietly save you well over $2,000 without producing any visible headline. That is one of the weirdest things about money. Some of its best returns are invisible. You do not see the job you avoided quitting impulsively. You do not see the loan you never had to take. You do not see the interest that never started compounding against you. You do not see the medical stress your body avoided because your mind finally got a break. You just feel your life getting less chaotic. Relationships often improve here too. Money tension leaks into everything. It affects patience. It affects honesty. It affects whether people talk openly or hide purchases and avoid conversations. When finances are fragile, even small disagreements can carry extra emotional weight because the stakes feel bigger than the moment itself. Once there is a cushion, conversations become less loaded. Boundaries get clearer. You can help others more responsibly. You can say yes with intention. You can say no without guilt swallowing you whole. And there is another underrated change. Your tolerance for delayed gratification goes up. When people live in scarcity for a long time, the future can feel abstract. That makes immediate rewards harder to resist. Spending today feels real. Benefits 5 years from now feel theoretical. After you build savings, the future starts feeling more concrete. You can picture the next step. You can imagine retirement contributions mattering. You can believe investing is for someone like you. That belief is powerful. Because the jump from saving cash to building wealth is usually psychological before it is mathematical. First, you learn how to hold money. Then you learn how to direct it. Then you learn how to make it work. Without that first skill, the rest stays shaky. Now, there is an important warning here. $20,000 is a meaningful milestone. It is not a finish line. It does not protect you from every setback. It does not erase bad habits automatically. It does not guarantee wisdom. It does not mean you can coast. In a high-cost city, it may cover only a few months of living expenses. For a family, it may feel thin fast. For someone with unstable income, it may be a starting point rather than a full safety net. Still, milestones do not need to be perfect to be life-changing. Their value comes from what they unlock. And this one unlocks a new relationship with money. You stop seeing money as a constant threat. You stop seeing every expense as personal punishment. You stop needing every paycheck to rescue you. You start seeing money as a tool, a system, a buffer between you and chaos. That shift changes how you work, how you spend, how you rest, and how you plan. It can even change what risks you are willing to take. A person with zero margin fears every experiment. A person with a cushion can take calculated chances. They can start a side project. They can invest more steadily. They can change jobs. They can move cities. They can think in terms of upside instead of pure defense. And that is often where real progress begins. Because most people assume financial freedom arrives in one dramatic moment. A huge raise, a lucky investment, a life-changing windfall. For most people, it arrives more quietly than that. It shows up when emergencies stop owning your nervous system. It shows up when your decisions get slower and better. It shows up when the future stops feeling like a threat and starts feeling like something you can shape. That is why the first $20,000 can feel so different. It is not flashy money, it is foundational money. It is the money that turns reaction into strategy. It is the money that gives patience room to exist. It is the money that helps you become the kind of person who can build much more. And honestly, that may be the most important part, because the habits that get you to $20,000 are often more valuable than the $20,000 itself. The discipline, the consistency, the emotional control, the ability to think longer term than the average person. Those are the traits that keep compounding long after the number changes. So if you are still on the way there, do not dismiss the milestone because it does not look glamorous. A lot of the best financial progress looks boring from the outside. Quiet balances, automatic transfers, fewer emergencies, better sleep, less drama, smarter choices. That is real progress. And if you have already crossed it, take a second to notice what actually changed. Chances are the biggest difference was never the account balance alone. It was the fact that life finally stopped feeling like one long financial interruption. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more content on money, investing, and financial freedom. And stick around for the next one.